YouTube friends and family. How are you guys doing today? I hope that everyone is doing wonderful and swell per usual on this good Tuesday morning. It is February the 17th, 2026, and it is currently 9:43 a.m. here in Detroit, Michigan. I just got up and washed my face and brushed my teeth and everything. I had to come out here and clean up behind the dogs. I haven't listened to anything on YouTube. I haven't turned on the TV. I haven't listened to any music or anything like that. I just wanted to come and jot down in my digital diary the downloads that I got while I was sleeping last night, and just talk about my day that I had yesterday. Which I didn't make a video yesterday because I really was not feeling good. I had a terrible headache. My stomach wasn't feeling the greatest. I just wasn't feeling good. So I didn't feel like getting on camera. I did make a post or whatever, but that was about it. This says went to college. You see, I wasn't planning on opening this book. This is a book. It says Herbal Magic. It's not a book. It's a journal, a daily planner, a calendar. And as you can see, I barely use this. But inside of this book, it tells you about different herbs and how to heal things. And it has like a few little herbal spells in it. That's why it's called Herbal Magic. But I don't do spells. Not good, not bad. I just don't do them. It's not something that I'm interested in learning how to do or anything like that. I'm hearing, do you believe in magic? But I don't have to use magic because I am the magic. You know how they say black girl magic? It's like I'm really magic. So I don't have to do spell work or, I don't chant. I don't light candles. I don't use herbs to do like spells and things like that. Even though there's supposed to be a good thing, a good side of witchcraft. They say there is a such thing as a good witch. There's good magic and light workers, and I believe that. However, I've never used magic in any way, good or bad, light or dark, however you would like to say it. But I'm hearing that I don't need to because I'm a very magical person. So as you can see, I barely cracked this book open. I got it from the library a few years ago, and I barely cracked this book open. But I have a lot of notes. And if you was to open my books, you would know that I don't write in complete sentences. I jot down notes. And what would be the purpose of writing my notes in complete sentences if I'm trying to hurry up and take down just the key factors and the main things that I need to write down? Therefore, they are notes. And I always worked in the medical field and at call centers. And if you work in the medical field, especially during the time frame where I worked in the medical field, where we had to chart. Like I was a CNA for a minute. I went to school for medical assistant as well. But you would have to chart at the end of the day, at the end of your set or whatever. You have your set number of patients, and before you go home, you need to jot down what they did throughout the day, their input, output, meaning like their urine and their bowels, their intake, outtake, if they ate, how much did they eat, did they vomit, and things like that. You would have to note those things down. If they had bed sores, if it grew, you would have to document that, document their behavior. If they have things like UTIs, or if you have a patient that's like a traumatic brain injury and things. I was in the medical field for over 10 years. So I know about jotting down notes. You have to leave notes for the next person that your relief who's coming on the shift after you, so that basically what you did throughout the day, the next person knows what your client or your patient went through and where to pick up. So it's something about that. But I noticed that people be making fun of like my statuses in my post because I don't write in complete sentences. Therefore, they think that I can't read. But I don't write in complete sentences because I don't need to. Because they're my notes, so I understand them. That's why it's not good to copy other people's notes, because your notes are your notes. Therefore, your understanding. In all your gettings, get an understanding. So when I'm getting my gettings, my notes are my understanding. So you might not understand them. But when you're in the medical field and things like that, when we used to have to chart, there were like abbreviations and things, so you would write them down and the next person would know how to read your notes. So I also, when I was training for AAA, my instructor was, I worked for AAA on the road side, assistant side. So my instructor also taught us to write in code, because you don't got time to read a paragraph if you doing logistics and you towing and it's snowing and you trying to drive, but you have to read these notes. So you have to learn how to basically write in shorthand and write in code so that you can communicate with your truck driver and things like that. I also worked for United Road Logistics, and I was a load builder. So when you build loads, you put the cars on different semis and things like that. And when I was a load builder, I was very cool with the dispatchers. And I used to take notes for the dispatchers a lot, and I would have to relay them to the logistic drivers. So therefore, I know how to write notes really quick and in shorthand. So if you don't do that, then you might not be able to understand me. That's why it's always good to stay in your place. So it's not that I can't read. I can read what I'm writing perfectly fine. And I was hearing people really don't understand how deep this shit goes, Aliyah. But ask them, is the Bible written easily, or do you have to decode it? You have to break it down. And that's why a lot of people don't understand it, because they be so quick to say, this is dumb. Why do it sound like this? But that's because that was their notes. King James or whoever rewrote the Bible, this is their notes. And that's why, again, in all your gettings, get an understanding. Even while reading the Bible, we have to go and do our research. And that's why the internet is here. Even though everything that's on the internet we can't believe, that's why you have faith. That's why you have a connection with God, spirituality. But you take down notes. Anyway, I just cracked open my book and I have notes. And when I write notes, I write them all over. So it's some written this way, it's some written this way, some written this way. It's wherever I can find a space, because if you can see, this book is covered in pencil. But this, I cracked this open and it says, topic of discussion. You are the topic of discussion. You didn't go to college. Then I wrote, speaking of working for the company or whatever, I had a coworker, and she was a very smart girl. And she went to college and everything, and I did not. And she happened to ask me one time, she was like, Aliyah, why don't you have a degree? Like, most of my friends have degrees. Like, why didn't you go to school? I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't want to. I had my daughter when I was 17. I actually had a hard time getting back into high school. Cut it out! After I had my daughter, which is how I ended up finishing off with online classes anyway. Because I had Alexis, I was 17 years old. I had her, Alexis' birthday is September the 8th. So, you know, that's usually like the first day of school. And I had just had my baby, and I had to wait 6 weeks to go back to school or whatever. So by the time it was time for me to enroll in school, classes were full. My grandma amputated. I had so much on my plate. I'm like, fuck it. I enrolled myself in homeschool. And I started taking homeschool classes to finish off my high school diploma. But I was so fucking smart. Not saying like, oh, I'm a genius. I'm a 4.8 student. But like, you know how they say common sense ain't so common? I got the common sense that God gave me. And a lot of people who have degrees and things, they lack the common sense that God gave them. So I'm very intelligent. But anywho, this says, why you went to college and got a degree, but getting paid the same amount as me, a temp, not even working in the field for what you went to school for. And God must want me to talk about that, because I didn't plan on reading this. I didn't plan on opening this book at the moment. And it says, Yahweh or the highway, talking down on people who live on food stamps, but you want to buy them. You talking down on people who have to go through certain things, but you never walked in those shoes. And I'm hearing right now, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. It's like, I get so much backlash on the internet. Like, people really try to break my spirit, break my soul. They try to call me dumb, which is probably why I wrote this. God knows when. This book is like 3 years old. But people will really try to break my self-esteem. That's crazy, because over here I even got self-esteem. I don't know if y'all can really see this, but it says self-esteem. And it says teeth, Cardi B, weight, Lizzo, kids before or after marriage, kids before or after finances. Then I have Alexis Sky and Fetty Wap. So God want me to talk about this. This is probably going to be a long video. But it says self-esteem, Cardi B, weight, Lizzo. And then if you have kids before or after marriage. Now, a lot of people be trying to break my spirit. Oh, she this and she that. I said people think I'm dumb when I'm very intelligent. But people will try to talk about teeth, or they'll try to talk about skin, or they'll try to think that I'm dumb and be like, oh, she can't even read, so how she gonna write a book when they don't even know that I'm smarter than them? But anything to break your spirit is try to make you go away, to try to make me not show up for the camera every day. But I was writing this, I don't know again how long ago, but I was saying like they did Cardi B the same way. Her teeth were messed up. People talked about her for that. Oh, she ain't never gonna be nothing. She ain't this, she ain't that. She just a hood rat, a stripper, blase split. And then it says kids before marriage. Like people will dog you out if you have kids before marriage. But you had a kid out of wedlock, or you ain't nobody, you this, you that. But even Cardi B, who got talked about her teeth and things, she didn't have her children till after she was married. Very beautiful woman. Still got cheated on. You know, her in the industry, rich as fuck, pretty as fuck, body is nice, everything like that. Successful, started from the bottom, made her way up to the top, but she still get dogged out. Even to this day with Stefan Diggs, and I don't really watch TV, but Cardi B pops up on my timeline quite a bit. You know, she still gets talked about to this day. But she waited to have her kids to after she was married. A lot of people do, but they still end up getting a divorce. So if you want to be technical, what's the difference of having your kids before marriage if you're going to turn around and still end up getting divorced after you have the children, even though you waited to after marriage? And I'm not talking about Cardi B. I'm just using her as an example because she waited. But life still lives. They're still humans, regular people, and we go through shit. But this is what happens when you're chosen or when you're meant to be in the spotlight. People act like your life is not regular. They feel as if they can talk about you to bring you down, and they don't realize that that's their fucked up mentality and problem. Like, if somebody wants to do something, who are you to tell them that they cannot? So God must want me to talk about that. But the notes that I wrote down today are here. And they were talking about hemorrhaging and having blood clots or hematomas while pregnant. And I had shared a video of a lady speaking about that yesterday because I dealt with that before with my 11-year-old son, Amari. So I wanted to talk about that. I wrote that, miscarriages, abortions, line sisters, a pastor's son, that's a detective, grandpa training, Simba's pride, Romeo and Juliet. My son Malachi yesterday asked if he can go back into my stomach. Spirit babies, asking to be born, safe deliveries, C-sections, and then I wrote down the name Lavina, which is what we call my grandpuppy. She looks just like Lavin, but Lavin is my granddog. He's a boy. But he has a puppy that looks just like him, but it's a girl. And I want to talk about that as well. So again, if you were just to look at this, you wouldn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But that's because these are my notes and my downloads that I got in the middle of the night last night. So you wouldn't understand them until I break it down to you. So people who be trying to make fun of my writing, it wasn't meant for you to understand. And again, some people can crack codes so they understand exactly what I'm talking about. That's like going to an escape room. If you ever been to the escape rooms where you get a group of people and you got to set yourself free, you have to crack codes in the escape room. You never want to be inside of an escape room with an idiot or a Karen or somebody who think they know it all, because you'll be locked in the escape room forever. It takes time to break down codes and figure things out. And if your stupid ass just sitting there like, oh, well, this is supposed to be spelt like this, so you're going to be stuck in that escape room for forever. Because, bitch, we ain't writing complete sentences and reading complete sentences. If you was reading instructions that told you exactly how to get out, then you wouldn't be in the escape room. You wouldn't be locked in because you would have instructions telling you how to get out. But being that it's an escape room, you have to know how to read shorthand, read codes, and understand things so you can set yourself free. So while there's people out here acting like a Karen and the know-it-all, those are the same people that are going to be left behind when New World Order takes place, because you're so busy trying to correct people and you're not even correct yourself. You're so busy trying to knock down people that you're unable to climb the ladder yourself, because you're too busy trying to bring people down with you. And no, you're going to go down by yourself, because we're coming into a world where people are learning how to read shorthand, crack codes. They're awakening to the difference between spirituality and reality, and living in the world, living in the matrix, and escaping and being free. So again, speaking of the escape room, if you sitting around trying to be all perfect and shit, you're going to forever be stuck in the matrix. But when you learn how to break codes and crack codes, I'm hearing the Da Vinci Code. When you learn how to crack codes, you will then escape the matrix. You will then be a free soul. But as long as your stupid ass sitting around trying to do everything by the book and bring everybody else down, you're going to forever be stuck. I'm seeing Moana. And my son had watched Moana 2 yesterday, and I was supposed to be watching it, but I kind of I was tired. I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't really into it. But in Moana as well, the very first one, when she was trying to find her way back to her roots, back to the way that things used to be, you follow certain pictures and things like that. In ancient Egypt and things, they didn't really write in words. They wrote in shorthand. They wrote in Hebrew. A lot of people wrote in Latin. And they used pictures. So again, if you can't break codes, you're going to forever be stuck in the matrix. You're going to forever be a slave. But that's your purpose anyway, because look at you. You sitting around trying to talk about everybody else and bring everybody else down. This card says, I don't back down, poker face, challenge, chess, or checkers. See, there's somebody out here in the world right now who's very smart. They went to school a lot, have a lot of master's degrees or associates, bachelors, whatever the case may be, and they think that they're better than somebody like me who don't have it. However, I have knowledge, ancient knowledge, wisdom, and I have experience of living out in the real world. And I'm hearing, bitch, I don't think you want to challenge me in this game of life. But somebody out here want to be in competition, and they feel like they're going to be able to beat me because they have so many education degrees. But I'm hearing I have more degrees than a 33-degree Mason. I don't think you want to fuck with me, because this is based off experience. But anyway, speaking of experience, God was telling me in my dream last night to talk about these things, because there's a woman who's going through something. I don't know if she's pregnant, just had a miscarriage, thinking about having an abortion, and is just going through a hard pregnancy. And I've been there before. Or maybe she doesn't know who her baby daddy is, and I've been there before too. I had the option of 2 different guys being my baby daddy, with my youngest son, Malachi, who is now 6 years old. I have raised him all this time without a father. So maybe somebody is going through that. But when I was pregnant with my 11-year-old son, Mari, I ended up finding out I was pregnant about 5 or 6 weeks, so I knew that I was pregnant. And I had missed my period, so again, I knew that I was pregnant. But I ended up coming on my period, or so I thought, like around 7 weeks or whatever. Like I thought my period had just came extra late. But I had already taken the pregnancy test that came back positive. But I started bleeding. And this is around the time I had lived with my baby daddy mama. She lived out in Southfield, right by Royal Oak. So I was, and just in case anybody think I'm making this up, y'all be so good for hacking into medical records. You can go into my medical history and you should be able to see this. But I'm not reading comments today, guys, but I love you. Even the haters. You could go in my medical history and you can see this. So I was pregnant with Mari in 2014, so this would be around that time. I had went to Beaumont of Royal Oak, and I was bleeding, but I was pregnant, and my baby heartbeat was, he was there, he was fine, everything was okay. So they're like, oh, it's fine, you're having a hematoma. I can't remember what it's called, but it's SCH, and I posted a video about it on my YouTube yesterday of another woman talking about her experience as well. But I had rushed myself to the hospital because I was bleeding real bad. But it seemed like everything was going fine with my pregnancy. So, I go back home, I bleed for a few days, it stops. So I'm like, okay, That was that, whatever. They said my placenta was also detaching from my uterus and moving around, and that will cause bleeding as well. So I was going through that. And now, again, Mari is my fourth child. So therefore, maybe the more children we have, our uterus becomes more sensitive. So therefore, implantation bleeding can be heavier, and you can have these hematomas, these blood clots that you have to pass because your uterus have given birth to previous children, whether they were a full birth, a miscarriage, or an abortion. You still get sensitive there. And when you fertilize the egg, it implants and buries itself inside of your uterus, your uterine wall. And that's a sensitive process. So I was bleeding a lot. The bleeding has stopped or whatever. I was still in my first trimester. I'm like, okay, cool. At this time, I was still a CNA as well. So my job required me lifting people, rolling people, using a Hoyer lift and everything like that. So, I couldn't afford not to have my job at the time. So I kept going to work. I think about 2 weeks had passed. I wasn't bleeding. And I was working and everything. I was thinking everything was back to normal. Then boom, gushing out blood. So I rushed myself back to Beaumont. I'm like, okay, I'm bleeding again. I don't know what's going on. Am I having a miscarriage? What's the problem? And for some reason, I'm getting emotional right now. Like, my hormones have been all over the place lately. But I'm like, what's the problem? Am I losing my baby or what? I kept going back and forth to the hospital. It's got to the point where our mama was like, girl, what's wrong with you? Why do you keep running back and forth to the hospital? But at that time, I hadn't told anybody that I was pregnant. So I'm just going back and forth or whatever. And you don't want to tell nobody you're pregnant if you keep on bleeding. So you don't know if you're going to have the baby or if the baby is going to end up being a miscarriage or you have to get rid of it. You don't want to go around telling people. So it's a very stressful and emotional thing, especially if you have been wanting to have a child or if you want this baby or you've been praying for this baby and it's here now and you're afraid that you might not be able to carry it. So I went through that. And I understand that. So maybe somebody else is going through something like that, which is why God is wanting me to talk about it. And I don't know why I'm so emotional right now, but I just am. So yes, that's that. Maybe somebody is going through that and I'm here like it's going to be okay. Because again, Mari is 11 years old now. But even Mari, he was having issues with bleeding with his nose at one point in time. His nose would just drench blood. Like he would wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes the whole fucking pillow would be drenched in blood. I will start running around the house panicking. And the crazy thing about that is, like I said, I done worked in the medical field. I done been a CNA. I done watched people die. I done watched my mama die in the hospital and take her last breath. My grandma, I watched her die in the hospital and take her last breath. And I always had to be strong. I had clients that I seen them take their last breath and it broke my heart. I even had this one client, she was dying while I was at work. I had worked the midnight shift. And she was like, Aaliyah, can you just come in here and pray with me? She was a little Italian lady. And she's like, can you just come in here and pray with me? And me and my other coworker, we was just in there praying with her or whatever till she took her last breath or whatnot. So I've seen a lot of death to people that I cared for, people who were my clients, everything. But when it comes to my kids, all that training and shit goes the fuck out the window. I don't give a fuck. If my kids call me and it's a problem, all that, oh, Aaliyah, you know how to do CPR, you know how to give an injection. I don't give a fuck what I know how to do. When my kids call me, I get to panicking because they're my motherfucking kids. So when Mari was little, he would just bleed out sometimes. Like his nose would cover up the whole pillow. It would be big puddles of blood in the bed. To the point I'm thinking there's something wrong. The amount of blood that would come out, my baby could drown in his sleep. So I would be panicking. But I'm hearing it's something about the blood. Like I'm hearing right now the blood of the lamb. But anyway, when I was pregnant with him, all the way up to 5 months, I would have periods where I would gush out so much fucking blood that I would think that I had lost my baby. So maybe somebody is going through that. And you need to know that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And that's hard to hear when you're going through some shit like that. So that's that. Now, we're going to talk about miscarriages. I had a miscarriage one time before as well. And again, I was still working. I was a CNA and everything. So I'm going to my shift every day or whatever. I had my client named Bill. Bill Romaya. I love Bill, and this ain't no HIPAA. Bill and I love the Ramaya family. They were Chaldeans. They lived out in Farmington Hills. And Pat loved me too. I had worked for a home care agency, and I was assigned to their case. But I had ended up quitting the home care agency. And you know, you're not supposed to take clients from a home care agency and then start working for them personally. But I did, because after I quit the home care agency, my client found me on Facebook. Like, she had her son and daughter-in-law find me on Facebook, asked me for my number, and she asked me if I could please come back and work for her because Bill didn't want nobody else to work for them. So I went back and worked for the Ramayas. They paid me cash in checks, like under the table. It was our agreement. I went and worked for the Ramayas for about a whole nother year and a half after I had quit the agency, up until Bill had passed away. And when Bill passed away, I was heartbroken. That was my road dog. And Pat was his wife. And she would be like, Ali, my husband called your name more than he called mine. In the middle of the night, he would talk about Leah. Like, she's like, Bill really loves you. And I loved Bill. I took care of him like he was my granddaddy. So, why am I talking about the Ramayas? I don't know. I hope Pat is okay. Maybe she passed away, because I seem to channel my clients sometimes too. But anyway, being a caregiver and shit, all that shit goes out the window. But I was working for them, and I came to my shift even though I wasn't feeling good. And I had been complaining about not really being able to lift my arms or whatever, and I was having like shortness of breath. But I wasn't really sure why, and I was trying to push through, make it to my next paycheck and everything like that. But one day I had happened to just end up going to work, and I couldn't make it through my shift. Like, my shortness of breath had gotten so bad, I couldn't breathe. And around this time, I didn't smoke. I didn't start smoking weed till I turned 26 years old. I'm about to be 36 this July, so it'll be 10 years that I've been smoking weed now. But yeah, I didn't smoke weed when I was like young. I was almost 30 years old when I started smoking. So I'm saying that to say I had no reason to have shortness of breath. I was fit. I was a CNA. I was used to moving on a regular. I had kids and everything. My life was never boring. My life was never still. I was always on the go. Like, always. I got my CNA license when I was 19 years old. I had my daughter when I was 17. So again, my grandma was sick as well. I never had an easy life. I was always balancing out shit. Even prior to that, being pregnant at 16 and shit, I was going to Crossroads in Southfield, an alternative school. I was pregnant. I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drop my grandma off at dialysis, leave from going to dialysis, come back to the house, get dressed, get ready, go to school. I went to school, waited till lunchtime. At lunchtime, I had to leave school, go pick my grandma up from dialysis, take her back home, then go back to school and get out at 3 o'clock. And I was doing that since 16. So my life was always busy taking care of somebody. My mama was sick. My grandma was sick. Then I had kids. So I ended up taking care of them. You know, I've always been the one to take care of somebody else. Never really taken care of, though. But anyway, I'm pushing through. I'm going to work. And I tell her, I'm like, I have to leave, Pat. I cannot breathe. She's like, well, do you want me to call the ambulance, or are you going to try to drive to work? Drive to the hospital. I'm like, I'm going to just go ahead and drive myself. Again, they lived in Farmington Hills. I lived in Southfield. So I went to Beaumont of Royal Oak. And I'm driving myself to the hospital. Barely can fucking breathe. I'm talking about at the red lights. I'm like, I finally get to the emergency room. And they put me on the EKG and everything. And they're like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm here trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with me. I cannot breathe. So they're like, okay. They put me on the EKG machine. They like, her heart palpitations are like through the roof. My heart was beating so fast and so fucking hard. I thought I was about to die. And they like, okay, we need you to roll over, do this, roll over. I'm like, I can't lift my arms. I can't lift my arms. And they're like, what is going on? I'm talking about, I'm going to go get CAT scans, x-rays, everything. They had put the iodine in my arm so that I can get the CAT scan, and my arm blew up. Like, blew the fuck up. My arm got 2 times its size because the iodine couldn't get through my veins. Hold on. Sorry, guys. But the iodine couldn't get through my veins or whatever for me to even have the CAT scan. So I'm just suffering. They ended up giving me morphine. This is the one and only time I ever had morphine. They had to end up giving me the morphine so that my heart could slow down because it was just beating too fast. I was about to die up in that bitch. And, you know, they finally end up pushing the iodine through the other arm or whatever. And comes to find out in my CAT scan, I have like 6 blood clots in my, they said I had 6 multiple blood clots in my left lung. And I couldn't lift my arms because the blood clots was in my lungs and it was preventing me from lifting my arms. So, you know, I ended up staying in the hospital for almost 2 weeks. I had ended up having to get put on blood thinners to thin out the blood clots. And when being put on the blood thinners, it caused me to have a miscarriage. Like, I was finding out so much. I was 8 weeks pregnant at the time. I had 6 multiple blood clots in my lung. I needed to go to work. I was going through so much shit. So when they started me on the blood thinners, it ended up causing me to have a miscarriage. And I didn't even know because I started the blood thinners. They told me that it would thin out the blood and I shouldn't have any bleeding or anything like that. But I'm telling you, I was laying in that hospital bed and you would think somebody came and shot me 100 rounds or something. I was bleeding. I got up and went to the bathroom. I had passed the baby in the toilet. And it looked like a New York strip steak had fell into the toilet. So I'm like, okay, I'm at the hospital just devastated, hungry as fuck, needing to go back to work, stressed the fuck out, hoping that I don't lose my job. Even though the Ramayas were very understanding, they still needed the care. So I had went through that. And I was just at the hospital for a minute. And at this time, my uncle girlfriend, Miss Marion, she recently passed away too. Denzel had told me. She worked at Beaumont of Royal Oak, and she would come check on me every day. And she would bring me food and shit. She was kind of like the only person who knew what I was going through. Nobody else knew because it was just heartbreaking. But at the same time, you have to be careful what you pray for too. Because I knew that when they told me that, oh, like, oh, Mr. Williams, you know, you 8 weeks pregnant, blase splee. I'm just like, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to be trying to keep no baby right now, blase splee. Like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't want to have a baby. And God was like, okay, well, you don't want to have a baby? You about to have a miscarriage. And you about to see what it feels like. So I suffered with those blood clots in my lungs that almost killed me too, just like I had prayed for the baby to go. So I experienced that. Needed to talk about that. Next, abortion. And I'm going to come back to miscarriages. Next, abortion. I had an abortion before. Only one. I've only had one abortion my whole entire life. And this baby, it was a minute. I had to have a 2-day procedure when I had this abortion because I had waited a long time. I was going back and forth. I didn't know if I wanted to keep the baby, not keep the baby. Again, I was going through some stuff with my baby daddy. He was cheating, barely helping me take care of the kids and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I can't do this right now. I had just started working for the medical team. I had just got my job with them or whatever. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm about to take my first paycheck and just go have an abortion. So, because I need this job. I'm trying to move. All this type of shit. And that's what I did. I went and got my job at the medical team. I went through the whole training program. I got sited at my site building. I worked for my little 2 weeks in the hole. Got my check in 3 weeks or whatever. And by this time that all of that took place, I had needed to have the 2-day procedure to have an abortion. Which is damn near you might as well give birth and have a baby. I think I was almost 5 months pregnant. And when you have that procedure, you have to go and get like some medicine, and then they stick these little tubes in you. They kind of look like tampons. And they stick like 6 of them in you, and then they break your water. And then the tube things, they catch the water and they cause you to dilate because you damn near got to give birth. They cause you to dilate. And I had just started working at the medical team. So I was on like my 90-day probation period. I couldn't call off, couldn't be late type of ordeal. So I'm like, okay, God, please. I need to be able to go to work and make it through my midnight shift. And then I get off at work at 6:30 in the morning. My appointment is like at 8. So I went in to work with them motherfucking sticks in me. And baby, I went into full-blown fucking labor. Because that's what when you have the 2-day abortion, you have to go through labor. You have to dilate so that when you go back the next day, they can take the baby out. Baby, I went to work and I was in that bitch about to pass the fuck out. I kept throwing up. I kept getting overheated. I was just fucked up. I was sick as fuck. My head was pounding hard as fuck, like somebody was beating me in the fucking head. So I ended up grabbing a wheelchair and just sitting down. And my coworker Philip, he had came to me. He like, Aaliyah, what is wrong? I'm like, Philip, I can't do it. I gotta go home. I need my job. I can't get fired, but I cannot stay here. And I'm like, he like, what's wrong with you? Something is wrong with you. It's something is not right. I'm like, I'm sick, Philip. I just need to go home. I'm like, I'm in the middle of losing the baby or whatever. He like, what? Why would you be here or whatever? They ended up calling Al, calling my baby daddy. He had to drive all the way out to West Bloomfield to come and get me from work because I was about to die in that bitch. And I went home and I passed the fuck out. This is when they was giving away Vicodin. I think that's the name of it. They had me on Vicodin before the surgery was supposed to take place, but I don't take pills. So even the Vicodin was making me throw up. And it was making me pass the fuck out because it was too strong. So I was fucked up. But I went in to have my procedure the next day and I just kept crying. And the lady like, I don't know what you're crying for now. You already done made up your decision. Like, you halfway through the process now. I'm like, I know, but I don't know why I'm crying either. Like, I know I made the decision, but it's just a lot going on right now. You don't understand this type of shit unless you go through it. So I go through, I have my surgery or whatever. I get rid of the baby. They asked me, do I want to know the sex? I'm like, no. They gave me the ultrasound picture and I just kept that as a token or whatever. But that was not easy. And I never had another abortion ever again. I said I wouldn't. But it was hard. It was very hard. So somebody is going through something between like miscarriages, abortion, or they're afraid of having a miscarriage. Maybe that's why God is wanting me to talk about this. And for some reason, I'm just emotional as fuck. I'm so sorry. But I am. Let me give you some more tissue. I'm also hearing right now, like any baby that you lost, they watch over you in the spiritual realm. Sorry, guys. But maybe somebody did just have a miscarriage, or maybe they gave birth to a stillborn, or they had to have an abortion. That baby watches over you in the spiritual realm. And I'm also hearing that that baby spirit is going to be born again. So you're going to get pregnant again, is what I'm hearing. And you're going to have a successful pregnancy. So maybe that's why God is having me talk about this. Like somebody needs some encouragement. They need some love, or maybe it's my motherfucking self. Because sometimes you're not going to have support. You're not going to have people who understand. You're going to have people who be like, you shouldn't have that baby anyway. That's why God ain't let you have it. And that's not true. But divine timing. Okay? Like God, he may not come when you want him, but he going to always be there right on time. So if you really wanted this baby and you lost it, it was not the right time. But it's going to come back at the right time. That's what spiritual babies mean. That's what a rainbow baby is. A spiritual baby is spirit babies born in the spiritual realm who are waiting to be born. That's why women have such a strong connection to the spiritual realm, to spirit babies. And that's why you can channel really good when you're pregnant. They say that pregnant women have very dramatic and vivid dreams. It's because you're able to go into the spiritual realm with your baby. And I'm hearing right now, like, a baby from any baby I had in a miscarriage or abortion, those same babies watch over me to this day. So that's that. Next, this says line sister. Line sister. So I'm getting that somebody is trying to be initiated into a sorority. And I was also hearing that in this sorority, their initiation process is they want you to get pregnant and then have an abortion, because they consider the abortion to be a blood sacrifice. I know the shit sound wild, but that's what I'm getting right now. To join this secret society or this sorority or this girls group or whatever it is. It might even be girls and guys. In order to join, they want you to sacrifice a baby, preferably your firstborn child. Like this particular sorority, and I'm hearing there's a group of AKAs, and I don't know anything about AKAs or anything like that, or their initiation process or anything. So if you're an AKA, don't take this shit personal. I'm just telling what I'm channeling at the moment. And again, it be groups inside of groups. Like you could be an organization, and then some people will venture off and start their own little clique. Just like the Masons. That's why all Masons are not bad Masons, but there are some people that are just the bad apples of the bunch. They go off and they start their own covens and things. I was getting the download that somebody in this particular coven that I'm channeling, to get initiated, you have to get pregnant. And you will have to go and have an abortion. And that's your sacrifice to get into this initiation, and to get into this sorority. And there's a girl who got pregnant, but she wanted to keep the baby, or she didn't want to have the abortion or something like that. She didn't want to go along with the sacrifice. And the line sisters are bullying this person. I'm hearing you can set yourself free. You don't have to be a part of this sorority. You're not stuck in it. They're making you feel like you're stuck in this sorority or this group, but you're not. And this may be a message for many of people, because there's a lot of people who get stuck in sororities and they feel like they owe their loyalty to this group. Brotherhoods, sisterhoods, churches, organizations, people get initiated into those things, and then there's no way out. So they make it seem, just like the Illuminati and stuff, they make it seem like you sell your soul. When you get initiated into sororities and shit, it's almost like selling your soul. But there's a girl out there who needs to know you are not stuck. I'm here. You can always return home. You don't have to live in the sorority house. You don't have to live in the frat house. You can always go back home. You don't have to sacrifice your child if you don't want to. And even if you did already, and it's something that goes through your head, God forgives. Repent. Pray about it. Talk to God about it. But don't let your sorority sisters bully you. And that's for somebody. I'm hearing somebody's like 18 or 19 years old, and I have a daughter who is 18. She'll be 19 this September. And the AKAs did want her to join as well when she was just going to Nova in Oak Park. It was a few people, and her friends still went to school in Southfield and shit. And a few of them, and on the east side. Because my daughter went to Southfield schools, Oak Park, and she went to Osborne on the east side. She went to Mumford as well. And a lot of people, we moved around. And people was asking her to be a part of different groups, AKAs and sororities and things like that. And I was telling my baby, like, well, you know, Lex, I don't know if you're really going to want to be a part of a sorority, because you probably not going to want to do all the things that they tell you to do. Confirmation, because that just failed. But when I was a little girl, my mama was trying to get me to join the Deltas. Me and my friend Alexandria, we had started off going to the Delta meetings, because Miss Octavia, which was Alexandria mom, she had her in the Deltas as well. But after about like the first couple of meetings, I want to say I went to about 3 or 4 of the Delta meetings or whatever, and I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I don't want to be a Delta. Like, I never liked being a part of things, if that makes sense. Like, I used to have friends and shit, but I never been the one like, oh, let's click up and go to the club. Let's click up and do this. I never been one for being in crowds. I always move alone. That's why I'm known as like the popular loner, the quiet girl. I was the quiet girl and shit. I moved along my whole life. I never been one who needed a posse. So when my mama was trying to get me to join the Deltas, and the meetings used to be right across the street from the Delta building is on 7 Mile. When I used to be a little kid or whatever, a little girl in the early teen, it was, where Planned Parenthood, that's crazy because I'm talking about abortions and everything. But there's like the Planned Parenthood or Scottsdale Women's Center on 7 Mile. There's a building across from it, like slanted, kind of catty corner. It has some real steep steps and a red sign. That's where we used to go and have our Delta meetings at. And I used to be around all those girls, and they want you to pledge to do this and fees, dues for this, and you got to pay for this. And I'm like, Mom, my mama was stressing out like, oh, well, you got to pay this for this. You got to do this. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to do that. Like, you don't have to pay for me to go and do that because I hate that. I hate it. I don't want to be a Delta. I don't want to be in a sorority. So I ended up quitting. But I think Alexandria was still going to the Delta meetings or whatever. So it's something about that. Somebody is caught up in a sorority, a secret society, and their line sisters or their sisterhood or brotherhood is their initiation process and stuff. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. And they want to get out. You have the free will to live your life. You can get out of anything you want to get out of, including the Matrix. So you do not have to be stuck in the sorority or a gang or motorcycle club, a church, a secret society, none of that shit. If you want to be free, you can be free. So that's for somebody. Somebody is going through that. And I was channeling Wicked City, which is a TV show that I had watched. It was on Amazon Prime on like Black Cinema or something like that. And it's a movie about, it's a series about a witch's coven in Atlanta, Georgia. And they play in spell work or whatever. And I talk about this series quite often. However, they had ended up summoning up Mama Oya in one particular episode. And when she came and her spirit was summoned, she was like, who called me here and for what? And, she was telling them like her life was full of sorrow because her that's why I'm talking about this. She was pregnant 9 times. And her husband caused her to have a miscarriage every single time she got pregnant because he was a part of a sorority, like we're going to say a Freemason. And every time she got pregnant, he sacrificed their baby as a ritual. So she said she had 9 miscarriages and she was heartbroken behind it. But she came to find out that it was her husband who was the reason that she was having the miscarriages because he was sacrificing the baby in the rituals. That's what I'm saying. Line sisters. They weren't line sisters though. They were a coven of witches. But Mama Oya was saying, it's my husband who sacrificed all 9 of my children. So she ended up killing him in the series. So it's something about that line sisters and the abortions or having a baby, and then they was picking at somebody too. I'm channeling like there's a girl who couldn't get pregnant to get initiated. Like in order to get initiated into whatever sorority this is, you have to get pregnant and have an abortion to abort the baby. I don't know what the fuck type of fuckery this is, but that's what's happening. Somebody is going through this right now, or they went through this. And they bullied this person because they couldn't get pregnant. But I'm hearing God's rejection is your protection. You were not meant to be a part of that society anyway because they were going to kill you and make you the sacrificial lamb. So always know that God's rejection is your protection. Bringing me back to miscarriages. Like I said, I ain't having no kids after 35. I'm 35 years old right now. But like last year, I went through something that was crazy. Like I had felt like I was pregnant. This was like really the year before, the end of 2024, going into 2025. I had went to the doctor around September of 2024. I was taking my kids to the doctor anyway because it was back to school time. But I felt as if I was pregnant. So I went and made myself a doctor's appointment as well. This is when I was talking to Tobias. And when I went to the doctor, I had got tested for STDs and everything. I got those results back to my portal. Everything was fine. I didn't have any problems. But my pregnancy test results was blank in my MyChart, in my portal. So I'm like, what the fuck? My doctor had me go and have an ultrasound because I'm like, do I got PCOS or something? Like something not right? I'm either pregnant or it's something. My period is in here. I'm pregnant or something is going on. So I'm at the doctor, but they're not giving me my test results. This is my primary care physician, by the way. He then sends me to have an ultrasound. I go and have an ultrasound. The lady got the screen turned towards her. I'm like, okay, well, is everything okay? What's going on? I'm expecting her to be telling me this, that, and the other. Now, I got 5 kids, so I know what it's like to go and get an ultrasound when you're pregnant. She got me rolling over. She doing the ultrasound and everything, and I'm waiting for her to tell me, like, hey, am I pregnant? What's going on? Like, is it 1 baby? Is it 2? What's happening here? She's like, oh, everything's fine, but she won't turn the screen my way. So I'm like, okay, At this point, I'm starting to think something is going on, something is wrong. She like, oh no, you're fine. But my doctor like, oh, well, I only want you to see people in my network, this, that, and the other. I'm like, what the fuck? But ain't nobody telling me what's going on, if I'm pregnant or not. I swear to God, I even went to go and buy a pregnancy test. Every store that I would go to, you know they ain't had no pregnancy test. Every motherfucking store. It's like if they knew I was coming to that store, they hid the pregnancy test or something. I ended up going to one Family Dollar because I ended up resulting to a dollar store. I go to Family Dollar and buy the pregnancy test, and it looked like it's the last one there, the only one there. And the box all messed up, kind of like, you know how boxes get messed up in shipping and receiving, like they might get squished up a little. That's the only test there. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I paid a little $8 or whatever, bring that test home, and then it comes back negative quick. So I throw it in the garbage. But then I started getting all these videos on my YouTube. Like sometimes you will take a pregnancy test and it'll come back negative, but that means that you're pregnant with twins. All these videos started coming up on my YouTube about being pregnant with twins. Now, if you know me and my YouTube, my algorithm is very much so in sync. And plus, I knew I had already missed my period. I was feeling the signs, the symptoms. I knew that was my purpose. Get out of here. That was my purpose of going to the fucking doctor. But they wouldn't give me my pregnancy test results. They wouldn't put it in my chart. They wouldn't give me the blood results. But they was telling me like, oh, well, you're fine. You don't have any STDs. They wouldn't give me the ultrasound pictures. It's like, damn, this is my health, my life, my baby. And y'all won't give me no information? What the fuck? So I never ended up communicating this with Tobias or whatever. But I had just knew. Then I randomly get pulled over for no fucking reason by the Detroit police, where the lady caught being all aggressive with me for no reason, yanking me all around and snatching my bonnet off and just being all rude and shit for no reason. I get into the little waiting cell. I'm sick as fucking that bitch. It's like something was in the fucking air. I ended up asking them for a Tylenol. Mind you, I'm in there with a whole bunch of other girls that's laughing. Like, oh, well, what if you found out that you pregnant? Like, I'm sitting in the cell with these bitches like, how do y'all know my fucking business? Everybody seems to know my business but me because the doctor won't give me the results. So they laughing at me in the motherfucking jail cell. These bitches I've never seen, don't know shit about, by the way. But this is what happens when you get gang stalked and you be gang stalked by secret societies and sororities and shit. Bitches you never even seen before. But they were all up in my chart and my business. Those hoes knew I was pregnant. I'm waiting on the fucking Tylenol to come or whatever, and something told me don't take the Tylenol. Because the way, it's like the lady who handed it to me didn't even want me to take it. The guard who brought me the Tylenol, it's almost like she didn't want me to take the Tylenol. But my head was pounding so fucking bad. And I can always tell when I'm pregnant too, because for some reason I get excruciating headaches. My head was pounding so fucking bad in that bitch. On top of the cold ass air that was in the detention center on Mount. I was sick as fuck. I took the Tylenol and instantly started cramping up so fucking bad. I started bleeding. I'm like, damn, it's almost like they gave me an abortion pill before. I mean, an abortion pill. And mind you, I taken the abortion pill before because I had to take it before my 2-day procedure to kill the baby. So I'm like, damn, my stomach was in there cramping so fucking bad. I'm like, did they just kill my baby? Nah, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. But I'm hearing God say yes. Yes, it was a sacrifice. Like they knew what they were doing. And that's why the doctors would never give you the results. That's why when you went to get the ultrasound, they wouldn't give you the results. Nobody would fucking give you the results. And this is my fucking life. That shit was bold. But I swear to God, that happened. And I'm like, damn, like I knew I was fucking pregnant. And it's bringing me to a phantom pregnancy because then around June, I should have been having that baby of June of last year. And I was in here, get out puppies. I was in here with my kids in June. I think I was doing my baby hair or something. And I swear to God, my body felt like it went into a full-blown labor. I was even on live. And people thought I was being crazy and dramatic and shit like that. But it's like my body went into a full-blown labor. Like I was supposed to be giving birth. This is right around the time it should have been my due dates. I went into like a full-blown labor feel. I was having labor pains, I swear to God, but I was no longer pregnant because they had killed my baby. But God was already telling me, like, he was just giving me the confirmation, like, Aaliyah, yes, that is what happened. When my grandma's leg had got amputated, she used to be saying, like, Aaliyah, my leg is cut off, but it's like my leg still hurt. She's like, I could feel my leg still hurt. And my grandma had blood clots and gangrene, poor circulation in her legs. That's how she ended up getting her legs amputated. But once she got her legs amputated, she would jerk her stub. And she like, my leg hurts. She's like, even though my leg is cut off and it's amputated, it still hurts. So my leg still hurts. And I took her to one of her doctor's appointments one time, and her doctor was saying that's called a phantom. He was like, you have a phantom leg. Like, yes, your leg is cut off, but it used to be there. And you still have the nerves, the blood vessels and everything still in your remaining part of your leg. So every now and then it's still going to feel like your toes hurt because you still have those same nerves, vessels, blood, veins and everything. They're still in your leg, in the upper part. So granted, the lower part of your leg was cut off, it still feels like you have your foot sometimes. He used to call it a phantom foot. So what he was telling me, what I was getting as the download is like, it felt like I went through a full-blown labor because I was pregnant and somebody took my baby without my permission, without my knowledge. And God was telling me, like, you're not crazy. So he wanted me to have those phantom pains of like, that would have been my due date. That would have been the day that I gave birth. But I didn't because that baby was taken away. But God was like, you're not crazy. And I know that I wasn't crazy. Anyway, people will really try to make you believe that you're crazy. But if I was so motherfucking crazy, why wouldn't y'all just give me the results that said negative? Why would y'all refuse to show me the ultrasound screen? Because that's mind control, mind fuckery, and people trying to force you to believe something that's not true. So I went through that by myself too. And I'm talking about, I was hurting. Real full-blown labor pains and everything like that. I even looked like I was still pregnant. So talk about traumatized. That's why I say, like, no, I don't care to have a baby and get pregnant unless I'm about to get married and be with this person and stuff like that, because I done had some traumatizing experiences. I'm not one who want to be like, oh, I want to just trap you with a baby. And hell no, this is serious business when it comes down to me. I'm already a single mother at that. And again, I done went through the miscarriages phases. I done went through the abortions. I done went through the hematomas, being pregnant, and all of that. I had real high blood pressure when I was pregnant with Lex, so I knew what it was like to be on bed rest and be considered a high-risk pregnancy, and that was my first pregnancy. You know, I'm 35 now. They say when you become 35 years old, you automatically are considered to be a high-risk pregnancy. I also had the blood clots. So anytime I get pregnant, I'm a high-risk pregnancy because they know that I can get blood clots. But I'm hearing, no, Ali, it's the blood of the lamb. It's the blood of the lamb. Get out! I'm also hearing, now you about to understand why Mary and Joseph, how Jesus was really a hidden pregnancy. So, it's something about that. It's something about that. But yes, people thought that I wanted to be so dramatic, or that I wanted to trap Tobias. Tobias ended up getting pregnant, getting another woman pregnant and having a baby. But I never once bothered him with it because of what I was going through with the doctors. Like, I should sue the fuck out of them. And they know I can. This is why no lawyers will help me and shit. I'm not fucking crazy. They know exactly what they did to me. And guess what? That's why the same doctors was quick to write, oh no, she's crazy. Because they know I can sue the fuck out of them. That's malpractice. Y'all did that to me. Y'all took my child. I'm not confused about that whatsoever. I don't care what the fuck nobody say. And what benefit would I get out of faking pregnancy? Faking pains, labor pain. What benefit would I get out of that? That's what I'm saying. People got to make shit make sense. So yeah, that was that. Next, I wrote a pastor's son. There's a pastor out here. For one, his son is a detective, is what I'm hearing. But this pastor, I'm hearing this pastor wants to train me. Like he think that I would be a good pastor or evangelist or a woman of the church. Like he would like to train me. I'm hearing like, I like what you do, you just cuss too much. So there's a pastor out here that watches my YouTube channel or something, and I'm hearing that he wants to train me into speaking, like being a pastor. And I'm also hearing my granddad, because my granddad on my dad's side was a pastor, my grandpa. And I'm hearing like my grandpa would like to train me. My grandpa is a Mason as well. He's a Mason, he's a pastor. My grandpa is a very intelligent man. I love my granddaddy. I just don't talk to my family. But I always love my granddaddy. My granddaddy always loved me too. Get the fuck out. And anytime I ever needed anything, if I pick up the phone and I call my granddaddy is always there for me. Anytime I ever needed anything in life, which I rarely ask people for anything. But if I really need something and I pick up the phone and call my granddad, he always comes through for me. So I'm hearing like somebody wants to train you. And I don't know, my granddad's kind of old too. I don't know if my granddad is still alive. But even if he did pass away, they wouldn't tell me because people love to steal money from me too much. But I'm channeling my grandpa right now. Like somebody wants to train you up to be a pastor. I'm hearing there's a pastor of a church out here. Hold on. Go sit the fuck down. Go sit down. Y'all talking too fucking much while I'm talking. I'm hearing that it's a pastor out here. And he sent his son to come and look for me. I'm hearing, tell her I've been looking for with a flashlight. So this man, he thinks that I would be a good addition to his church. Just, I gotta stop cussing so much. Ooh, pastor, we gonna have to work on that, baby, because baby. But anyway, I was getting that download as well. I'm hearing this pastor's son like me. Like his daddy sent him to find me for a totally different reason, and this guy likes me. So there's a pastor's son who watches my YouTube channel, and he likes me. That's so funny because this says cliffhanger right here. And if Cliff said that his people have a church. So anyway, that's just God giving me signs of synchronicities. But there's a pastor's son. I'm hearing the prodigal son. And he likes me, is what I'm getting. I'm getting to know he really loves you. He just don't know how to say it. So it's something about that. This pastor wants me to be a part of their family, whether that's their church family or their immediate family. There's a pastor out here that thinks I would be a good addition. Even though the rest of the church don't agree or something like that. Maybe the first lady of the church may not agree, or maybe she does, or maybe the congregation doesn't agree with it or something like that. But this pastor knows. I'm hearing because I'm hearing like I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of the word. I know, like real recognize real per se. This man knows that I've been through a lot and that I can be a really good preacher. He likes the way that I can catch the attention of a crowd as well as my life experience. So he wants to teach me different things about the Bible, is what I'm hearing. So that's cool or whatever. I love God. I love God. I love learning about God. I'm very close to God. I talk to God on the regular. I just don't go to church. And I don't go to church because of many of reasons. But I'm not against church. Like if I was to find a good church home, I would go to church. But until I find a good church home that agrees with my spirituality, then I'm not going to church. But me and God are very close. That's my best friend. That's my daddy. That's the missing person that I always needed. But I never needed him because he never left or forsake me, if that makes sense. That's my motherfucking road dog. So me and God is like this. That's why I don't understand how people can think that I'm an alias or that I work in the dark or do witchcraft when I'm so godly. But it's because they expect godly people to look a certain way. But God says, come as you are. You see? So anyway, there's a pastor who wants me to come to be a part of his family and his church family. And he has a son that is like the prodigal son. And this son has taking a liking to me, is what I'm getting. Now, this says grandpa training. Again, I said it's like my grandpa wants to train me up. I'm hearing like your grandpa wants to teach you how to be a shaman. My grandpa probably is a shaman. My grandpa is a very smart man. He was in the military, again, retired from the post office, mason, pastor. Like my granddad, I love my granddad. And I don't even know him like that. But again, real recognize real. It's like these people, these men, the same men who were attacking me, the same masons and things, the same pastors. There's also other pastors and masons that love me because they never seen nothing like me. I'm hearing like Mulan. You know how Mulan had to go and fight in the army because her dad didn't have a firstborn son. He had a daughter instead. So I'm seeing something like that. And God, you was giving this shit to me so fucking good right now. That's what I'm saying. That's my motherfucking homie. So it's like, even though I'm a girl, they want to train me up to be a pastor. They feel like I have become a master. Like, no bullshit, no degrees. They feel like I'm like a master 33. Or they feel like I'm a Freemason. But I'm not. So they want to train me. Again, which is why I was getting the emails on if I want to join the Illuminati or something. But I'm hearing there's a pastor that has taken a liking to me. He knows my spirit. He knows my heart. God has brought me into the presence of this pastor, whether it's him watching me on YouTube or when I had my Facebook page. It's something about somebody has found me. Tell her I've been looking for with a flashlight. Shit, maybe it's Future. But seriously, I'm hearing we found you. But I'm seeing like the Pope is saying we found you. The Illuminati is saying we found you. I'm hearing do it for the realest fucking niggas in the game right now. And she will. Yeah. And that's Lil Wayne. She will. Like, she about to do it for the realest niggas in the fucking game right now. And she is me. Like, I'm hearing Cardi B. Like, only thing for free you get from me is free to bros. Like, you about to set the team free. I'm gonna feed my whole team. We ain't going on no fasting here. But it's like, God, it's like these people know that I can set them free. The ones who are stuck in bondage, the people who sold their souls, I can set them free. Because God is a forgiving God. Nobody has power over your soul but you. You have the free will to live your life. You're not trapped. It's all in the head. And that's a part of the MK Ultra program and shit to make you feel like you stuck in the matrix. You're not stuck. You are free. But just like I had to fight for my freedom, you have to fight for yours. And I never sold my soul. But sometimes your family will sell you off to secret societies and organizations. So, again, being that I'm the outcast of the family, I was sold off. Yes. See, the slavery, being stuck in the matrix and slavery, that shit got way deeper meanings than you know. So, yeah. It's something about that. But, there's a pastor, there's a grandpa, they want to train you up. I'm hearing the Masons, they want to train you up to help them do something. But it's not like the normal initiation process because I already turned down the offer. It's almost like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, they know that I don't want to be a part of that. So therefore, they'll rather help me train up for the things that they always wanted to accomplish anyway. Which is bringing me back to the TV series Wicked City and why he ended up sacrificing his daughter and wanted to kill her in the first place, and then why he sacrificed the other woman's child and things like that. It's all making sense to me right now. It may not make sense to you, but it's making perfect sense to me how God is giving it to me. Last night, my son turned on Simba's Pride, Lion King 2. And I never watched Simba's Pride. I love Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, and all that, but I never watched the part 2s. And they still came out in like the 1990s and stuff when I was a kid and shit. So last night, my baby, he just randomly turned on Disney Plus and turned on Simba's Pride, Lion King 2. And Simba had a daughter. He didn't have a firstborn son. He had a firstborn daughter. And her name was Kiara, which is my middle name. My name is Aaliyah Kiara Williams. So, it just was bringing me to that. Her name was Kiara. And Simba was telling her, like, well, when I pass away or when I die, then the kingdom will be yours. You'll be the ruler of the kingdom because you're the next heir, even though you're a girl. And it's just bringing me back to when I said my brother friend was over here the other night, 2 nights ago. She's like, who do you think you are? Scar, Simba, and Mufasa? And I always reference to the movie The Lion King. And one of my puppies, it was sliced. And that's why we call him Spot, or we call him Scar, because he has a scar. So, when I was watching that with my son last night, she was to be the next of heir, but she ended up falling in love with basically like Scar's stepson. And, Scar and Simba didn't get along. So therefore they didn't want their children to get along. They never wanted them to cross paths. They never wanted them to meet. But they happened to be out in the wilderness doing what they do, and they happened to bump into each other. And they were sneaking around to see each other because they ended up falling in love with each other. And then it came time for there to be a war. And when the two parents were getting ready to go neck and neck and try to kill each other, Kiara and Scar's stepson showed up and they stood in the middle. Like, listen, it's time for this shit to end. Granddaddy, I know that you don't like him. I know that you never wanted me to date him, but I love him. And he was saying that to his mother, like, Mom, I'm not about to let you kill her. I'm not about to let you kill Kiara. I love her. So it was like a Romeo and Juliet thing. This side of the pride didn't want their family fucking with this side of the pride. But these two people, they ended up loving each other. And she was the next of heir to run the kingdom, to be the queen of the pride. And when I was watching that last night, I was getting another download and another revelation. It's like, I am the firstborn daughter. The one to break the generational curses. The one who was left to be the heir of things. But it'll be your own family who against it and against the way that you want to do things, so they will hold you up. I don't like the way they want her to be a preacher. I don't like the way she talk. I don't like the way she dress. I don't like the way she look. She didn't go to college. How's she gonna preach? How's she gonna teach? Oh no. But the whole time I was ordained and I was chosen. And in the movie Lion King 2, Simba's pride, she was chosen to be the next of heir, even though she was a woman. And just like in Mulan, she's a woman. She can't go to battle. She can't fight, but her daddy was too old to go. So she had to get suited and booted and go and do the work of a man. Granted, they started off Mulan. She was trying to get chosen to be a wife. They want to train you up. You got to go to school. You got to get beautiful. You got to look this way. I'm hearing like Esther in the Bible. You got to look this way. You got to dress this way. You got to be like this, or the king is not going to choose you. But the whole time, I got to fight these motherfucking battles so that the king can see what the fuck is going on. Like, the king is so used to things being a certain way, to certain beef. They stuck in their old ways. But I am the heir. I am the next ruler of the kingdom, and I don't like this. So I'm going to put a change to it. I don't want to fight them. I love him, and that's his family. So I don't want my family fighting his family. So again, it's something like that going on. Somebody is in love, but their families are opponents, oppositions. They have different belief systems, but these two people are in love. So there's going to be an end to a war and a beef because these two people love each other. They're stronger than Romeo and Juliet. See, Romeo and Juliet, they went through the same thing, but it took such a toll on them that they decided to kill each other. This is Genesis 2.0. We're not killing each other. We love each other, and we're going to be together. So the family is going to get with the fucking program, or you're going to get left behind. So that's what I was getting from Simba's pride. And I was glad that my baby had turned that on last night. And it's just so crazy to me that Simba's daughter name is Kiara. And I done made my granddogs go up under the couch right now. But my granddog, Lavin, he's the big brown one who always jumps up in the camera. He has a puppy that looks just like him. I call her Lavina because she's a girl. And at first, Mari, my 11-year-old, he was like, Mommy, I don't think Lavin likes Lavina. And he was like, I don't think he likes her because she's a girl. She's the puppy that looks exactly like him, but she's a girl. And now Lavin is just starting to play with her. I swear to you, me, Mari, even when Mir and Lily was over here, they talking about y'all really thought this out, didn't y'all? Me and Mari like, yes. Lavin does not like Lavina because she's the puppy that looked just like him. She should have been a junior, but she's really a girl. And we was telling him, you know, like in Mulan, me and Mari was really breaking this shit down. And I was like, I feel the same way. Like, I am the firstborn child. And sometimes people want their firstborn child to be a boy, but I am a girl. And can you imagine being hated by your daddy, but you look just like him, down from the smile to the hairline and everything, but your daddy hates you because you a girl? And because of the choices that he made in life, I know how that feels. So I be joking, I'm like, I know how the dog feels. I know how Lavina feels. And Mir like, y'all really thought about this, but me and Mari know what the fuck we talking about. And now it's just getting to the point where Lavin, he plays with her. And she looked just like him. She always want to go roll and play up under him and everything, but Lavin hated her at first. I swear, and they dogs. So, of course, the same thing happens between humans. And I look just like my daddy, Uncle Father, or whatever you want to call him. But they don't like me. But I'm the firstborn. I'm the heir. I'm the chosen. And I'm a girl. See, I don't back down. Poker face. You want to play chess or checkers? So, yes, that was that. So, yeah, Simba's Pride and Kiara plus Romeo and Juliet. There's a time. And I say it all the time, like how they say, I say I'm like Jesus reincarnated and Mary Magdalene and stuff. I'm from the Jesus bloodline. I have loyal royal DNA. But I also love music. And Satan was the angel of music. And if you watch my videos, I talk about God and I incorporate music. Therefore, bridging the gap between the light and the dark. Bridging the gap between people saying, oh, you got to be this way to be considered godly. And if you're not, then you of the devil. When no, you're not. You're balanced. So I am known for bridging the gap. That's so funny because I'm about to get my braces put back on or something. I don't know. But bridging the gap, closing the gap, bringing two sides together, bringing two opponents together, bringing the light and the dark together because of love. And you know, that's what God was always about, which is also why I'm speaking of the pastor's son who's a detective. And I say he's the prodigal son. You know, the prodigal son, he got his inheritance and he went and ripped it around the streets. Basically, we're going to say he went and splurged the money. He asked God if he could have his inheritance. And God said, okay. He gave him the inheritance and he went and blew it. Let's just put it in a term that people can understand. Let's just say this man was supposed to go and start a business, start a family, start the bloodline, you know, bring forth generational wealth. But instead, he took his money and went and bought some weed and went to the strip clubs, took some trips, went shopping, but never invested in the things that he was supposed to invest in. He had a good time, but he went broke. Now he needs to come back home. All God's children, come back home. Like, yes, you went out into the world. You fucked up the money. You fucked up your life. But God is a forgiving God. And I want you to come back home. You are still my child. I still love you. No man is perfect. We all make mistakes. So it don't matter if you was a junkie. It don't matter if you killed 20 motherfucking people. God knows your heart. God is a forgiving God. All you need to do is repent and you have a covenant with God. It don't matter what everybody else think they know about you. You can be a hitman. You can be a dope dealer. And God will still consider you one of his own. It's just certain things. God has contracts with different people. And that's what you have to know. And when you become spiritual and you know a little bit about religion, this stuff makes sense to you. That's why you can't be too godly and stuck into Christianity or religions, because then you don't know God for real. Because God created all things, even hell. God reigns over hell. So you think he don't fuck with hell's angels? You think just because you killed somebody, God won't forgive you when even Moses had to kill one? God killed a whole bunch of people in the flood. God is a killer. That's what I'm saying. That's why the saying is God knows your heart. So again, bridging the gap between good and evil. balancing out the world. There's two people that's a power couple. They're going to do that. They're meant to be in love. And them two coming together is going to bring forth world peace. Because it's like, no, I love her. I'm not going to let you kill her. I'm not going to let you criticize her, beat her down. And the same thing, vice versa. I love him. I'm not going to let you kill him. I'm not going to let you keep him trapped in bondage. No, it stops with us. Then you start the bloodline over. So something like that is about to take place. Then, after all of this, my baby, Mally, my 6-year-old, comes and lays across my stomach. And he like, Mom, I want to go back inside your stomach. He like, I just want to be a baby again and then come back out. And then I was channeling, there's a spirit baby that wants to be born, which brings me back to the beginning of this video and saying that I was traumatized, especially of what I went through last year with losing a baby and, you know, things that I went to prior in life between abortions and miscarriages and being a single mother and things like that. Like, granted, I want to get married and have one more baby and stuff. I'm traumatized by certain things. Even though I've healed myself and healed my childhood trauma and things like that, that doesn't mean that I'm not an individual and that some things still don't make me cry. Or they're sensitive or sentimental. You know? So having a baby is something that I'm not going to say I'm traumatized by it, but I want to be very careful. Like, I want to be married. I want to do it the right way this time. I want to even be an example to my kids on how things should have went. Granted, my kids know that I love them. They've been my ride or die since they came out the womb. But you know how they say you want to get married so your kids can see how you're really supposed to be loved and things like that. I still want to set the example. So even when my grandkids are brought into the world, I'm here. I'm your grandma. I'm your mother. I'll help you with your child the best way that I can. You need a babysitter. I didn't have those options. My mom died before all of my children were born. And my father never met my children. My grandma died when Lex, Mira, and Lily was small as fuck. So I never had the support of family. Like, oh, I'm going to help you raise your children. Or, oh, you need a babysitter? Or, oh, you're going to go spend the night at grandma's house and she going to do your hair for me while mommy go to work. I didn't have that. Now, I did have my baby dad's mom, which I haven't seen Mama D in going on 6 years now. But when my children were little, she would watch my kids for me and things like that. While I go to work, she would buy them clothes and pajamas, and the kids can always go to granny house and things like that. So, I want that type of experience, but better if I have another child. I want family support, meaning I want to marry into a family who wants to help raise the grandchild. Not saying like, oh, I'm having a baby and want everybody else to raise it. But when they say it takes a village, I want a support system, you know? So I don't want to ever just rush into having a baby. No more. Like, my 5 kids that I have, we solid as they motherfucking come, whether they daddy in their life or not. You know, Mally is 6. He about to be 7 years old. He don't know nobody but me and his siblings. He don't know no daddy or daddy side of the family or nothing. But that's because of my choices, his father's choices, and just the way the cookie crumbled. But one thing my baby don't lack is love, because he know I love him to death and to life. He know I will never let nothing happen to him. He know that with me, he is always safe. And me and Mally, we like this. That's why every time I'm like, I'm a Cancer, he's like, I'm a Cancer too, mommy. Our birthdays only a few days apart, but me and my baby cool. That's my road dog. So it's something about that. It's something about that. These people coming together, they're meant to have this baby, but they're also meant to change the world. Because with this baby comes a good support system, generational wealth, generational health, and generational curses being broken. Because what are we fighting for? Some shit that happened back in the day, a plan that went wrong that we don't got shit to do with. Instead of living in it and dwelling in the hurt, then heal your trauma and change the world. Heal the land. It's no reason for us to be fighting. We love each other. And if y'all can't get over it, then you're going to lose me and you're going to lose him, because at the end of the day, we're still going to be together. And that's how the world changes. But it had to take 2 people strong enough. It takes two, baby. Okay, it had to take two people strong enough to say, fuck what my family said. We about to end this today because I don't want to lose you. So, yes, that's that. But I'm like, Nolly, why do you want to go back to my stomach? He like, I just want to come back, go back, and then be born again. Like, somebody's about to be born again. They're about to be forgiven for their sins. They're about to be born again. It's almost like being baptized. Their plate is about to be wiped clean. They're about to be able to start fresh. It's about to be a reset in the world for everybody. As long as you believe, as long as you jump on the bandwagon, as long as you're willing to change your mindset and elevate and grow, the world will change. And it's some people, again, that are stuck in their ways, and those are going to be the people who are left behind. The people who didn't get on the ark because the flood is coming. And here comes the reset, because we are now in love. We are now about to start the generation over, Genesis 2.0, where the world is going to be made off of love, peace, joy, happiness, abundance, good health, good wealth, prosperity. We're going to work together because teamwork makes the dream work, because that's what God intended for earth, also known as the Garden of Eden, to be for anyway, for people to come together. We're not supposed to be struggling. We're not supposed to be fighting. We're not supposed to be killing each other. But we had to go through all of that because people were rebellious. And unless you wanted to keep being the same cycle over and over again with fighting, killing, and losing, and being stuck in the matrix, you go ahead and you live that life. You're going to perish with the rest. Because all of us who are tired, all of us who did the hard work, we fought the battle already. We are now ready to live in peace. And I'm hearing you will inherit the earth, the Garden of Eden, my meek and humble servants. We're about to walk into paradise, where we raise our family beautifully, without lack, but built off of love. We have strong foundations. Again, raising kings and queens, a nation that works together. The Hebrews, the 12 tribes of Judah. We were never supposed to be killing each other, aka black on black crime, the Moors, and things like that. We were never supposed to be in lack. You know, they have free electricity and shit. But this battle, we had to fight it. And we've been fighting for a long time, and we're tired. So in Lion King 2, Simba's pride, Kiara, and Scar's stepson changed the world. They brought the prides together, and it became balanced. Not one side living good while the other side damn near about to die. That's not how God intended the world to be. Yes, he created light and he created dark. But when he said, let there be light, he meant for us to be fruitful and multiply. So there should never be a drought. We ended the rivalry between two families. We're ending the rivalry between light and dark, spirituality and Christianity and religion. Because it's stupid. And there is only one God. And God ordained this power couple to get together. So when I've been channeling and foreshadowing all of this information, this is the cliffhanger. You can either choose to stay and be wicked and fucked up. Somebody need to go watch Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. You can try to be wicked, and you're going to realize that everybody's tired of that. They rather balance shit out, and I'm fumbling over my words now because people don't like positive shit like this coming out. But you see, people love to say I'm always negative. And oh, she this and she that. But they don't ever take the time to listen to exactly what I've been saying this whole time. Even when I get on here and saying people about to die and shit like that, you know why? Because sometimes you got to kill off the bad apples, the demons, in order for the world to become a better place. Yes, I tell my story, and my story sound like it's crazy as fuck. But the Bible is the greatest story ever told. And my life is the Bible. Jesus got crucified. But in this lifetime, I'm not getting crucified. I'm a woman. And I'm choosing love. Just like in my past life and shit. And Mary Magdalene, she was a woman who chose love. That's why they exited her out the Bible. They didn't want people to know how much Mary loved Jesus, how dedicated she was to God, how she worked with him. They don't want people to know that. But they had real love. That's why they say, Cedric the Entertainer said, Jesus was a pimp and Mary was a hoe. But think of it. They go hand in hand. A pimp and a hoe work together. Not even trying to be funny. God knows my heart anyway. But Jesus was a pimp and Mary was a hoe. Yes, Jesus set the law down and Mary went out and told it. And then she brought other people like, hey, my husband or my boyfriend or my friend, my nigga, Jesus. Girl, that fat nigga keep a loaf of bread. Like, even when it's a drought, baby, you could go to Jesus. He got, what they call it, manna, hana. He got bread. He's going to feed the whole team when you with Jesus. But when you choose to be with Satan, you will starve, like Scar. You see? So Mary Magdalene, she was kind of like a hoe. She went out and gathered people and brought them back to Jesus. And then Jesus taught the word. But they balanced each other out. It was true love. I'm hearing, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Which again, I said that comes from Hustle and Flow. Again, bringing forth music into love. Then Lucius and Cookie, which are the same people who played the pimp and the hoe in Hustle and Flow, they ended up with a TV series, a spinoff called Empire. You're supposed to build an empire of kings and queens and change the world. You're supposed to combine Satan and godly people. Because before Satan became the devil, he was the angel of music. He was always meant to be with God. He just was the prodigal son and chose to be different. And it took even God to realize, like, you know, I still love that motherfucker. Like, I still love my son. He just taught me how to do shit in a different way. And at first, I didn't think I liked it. But I like it. Like, I could do this music shit. Okay, he might cuss a little. All right. But I see he grabs the attention of people. And therefore, he brings the people to me. You see how this shit work? Just like the dope man in the church, you don't fuck up the dope man's money or the church's money because they go hand in hand. You got to balance this shit out. Speaking of the pastor's son, the prodigal son, the firstborn daughter, this is prophecy. I'm not making it up. I crack codes for a living. And I don't just talk this shit. I live this shit. I fell in love with a hitman, with a thug, with a prodigal son, with a detective, somebody who had to change their life around, a gang leader, a motorcycle club leader, a secret society organization leader, a Freemason. But I'm godly and an earth angel. But who said that somebody from the light couldn't love somebody from the dark? Again, like the Twilight Zone. And when these two people can come together, they can balance it out. So that's what's about to take place. I'm foreshadowing again. And speaking of cliffhanger, in Lion King, you know, in Lion King, they held Simba over the cliff. So, there's a baby to be born. But he was made out of love. Or she is going to be made out of love. And this baby is going to bring forth peace and love. It's going to bring nations together. And I shared the story of Leah, an animated version the other day. And Leah had a sister, Rachel. But Leah wasn't the chosen wife, even though she was the wife that bore the children for their husband. Her and her sister were married to the same man. So this is even probably somebody is about to marry a man who probably once talked to somebody in their family, a sister or a cousin or something, and they don't even know it. Ooh, confirmation. Like, if I was to be talking to somebody who one of my cousins or somebody talked to, I wouldn't know it because I don't even talk to my family. And I don't know my cousins and shit on my daddy's side at all. And the little bit that I know on my mama's side, half my family, my mama's side of the family live in New Jersey and North Carolina, South Carolina and shit. My daddy's side of the family live half in Michigan, half in Georgia. I don't know my family for real. I wouldn't even know if I was dating one of my family members. But again, that's why in the Bible, sometimes two cousins have to come together and have a child again to restart the bloodline because y'all will fuck shit up so bad. See, God don't make mistakes. We do. God knows the plan. We don't. But that's why God's plan will always prevail. That's the one that's going to prosper. But the weapons formed against his children will not. That's why even though no matter how bad we plan shit out, sometimes it always turns out different. And when it turns out different, it be way better than you planned anyway. Because when the storm is here, it seems like shit is fucked up. But the storm clears out everything so that fresh things can grow. Maybe somebody used to talk to somebody else's cousin or something. Or again, this is a family rivalry. I don't want my brother talking to her. I don't want my daughter talking to him. Who the fuck are y'all? You gonna get with the program or you gonna get left behind. So it's something like that, like y'all beefed out for what? You and these people relationship business for what? This is a forbidden relationship for what? Because you petty and dumb and stuck in your ways? Bitter? Grow up. Go do some shadow work. Change your fucking life. See, this is what's going on. Confirmation. But these two people are going to be together. It's too late. It's already written in the stars. It's set in stone. This is prophecy, bitch. So if you can't get with the program, you need to get the fuck on. You could just roll over and croak. This is what the world is meant to go through. A reset. A change. We're setting people free out of the matrix, which is a program that makes you think that you have to live a certain way to keep you in bondage when you are free. And God granted you the free will. And he gave you the Garden of Eden, the world, where you have everything you need to live comfortably, to heal yourself, to be happy in everything. So beefed out for what? Hating each other for what? For no reason. And that's being stuck in the matrix. We're no longer being stuck in the matrix. We're no longer having wars for nothing. Because that's not what Earth in the Garden of Eden is for. Somebody is about to confess their love to somebody. And it's about to change the world. These people are getting married. These people are going to start a family. This woman is going to have a baby by this man, her husband. And it's going to bring two bloodlines together who have been rivals since the world started. In BC, before Christ. That's why they don't want these two people together. Because they knew it was going to shake up some shit and cause a massive reset and change the frequency so much. An electric, powerful pack that changed the world. And guess who is the main character? I am. And Cliff. We're not having a cliffhanger. We're having a eternal life. Our episode, our series goes on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. My body keeps rolling like a rolling stone. So it's going to go on and on. Eternal life. We have inherited the earth. Again, we don't die. We multiply. We got it right this time because we cracked the code. Again, I'm hearing the Da Vinci Code. We cracked the code. We changed the world. I'm hearing, we did it. We did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it. Who is that? Dora the Explorer. We have explored the world. We found each other. Twin. Where have you been? Like we were separated. But nobody knows me like you know me. Like, I don't care. We found each other. We changing the world. And this light just keep flickering. A massive reset is taking place right now. Look, this says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. And 12:21 is a mirroring number. I'm telling you, we're bridging the gap between good and evil. We're bridging the gap between good and evil. Somebody from the dark has fell in love with somebody of the light. and they're about to balance out the world. Two rivalry families are now about to come together and work together. Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and Kiara. And again, my name is Aaliyah Kiara Williams. I love you guys. I wish you nothing but love, joy, peace, happiness, abundance, good health, good wealth, prosperity, and all that good shit that us good ass people deserve. I didn't even use my cards today, only one. And it's I Don't Back Down, Poker Face, Challenge, Chess, or Checkers. And I talked about a lot of different topics in this video. A lot of different things that I went through in life that helped me get to where I am today. I'm here, I've been all queens of the deck as well as the Empress. I'm here, Aaliyah. Hey. I'm here, you are currently the Empress. The High Priestess. I've been through so much. Heartbreak, good days. My life wasn't all terrible. But I went through everything I needed to go through to get me to where I am today and to put me in leadership position where I can help raise a nation with the help of a king. Lion King. I'm here, and again, I've been trained since a kid with movies like Lion King, Cinderella, Snow White, Shrek, all the Mickey Mouses and everything. And I'm hearing the spiritual realm loves me so much, all of my ancestors, including Walt Disney. My passed on loved ones, I've literally set the bloodline free. I'm here, I'm so proud of you. Like my ancestors jumping in heaven right now. Confirmation. They jumping in that bitch. I was dreaming this last night too. My ancestors lit as fuck. Lit as fuck. Because we cracked the code. We changing the world. We set them free. And God is happy because we cracked the code. The Bible, the greatest story ever told, and set the bloodline free. The Christ conscience. We caused an awakening. So now the world can have a reset. Bye. And spring is about to come in soon. I even got the door open right now. I was trying to let the house air out after I had cleaned up the dog poop. I got to get rid of my granddogs. I'm getting too sensitive to even clean up their dog poop. I was about to throw up earlier. I was gagging so hard my head started pounding. But I wasn't throwing up nothing but clear liquid. Same thing last night. It's like they poop. The smell of their poop, I can't deal with it no more. So I'm hearing God say, because Aaliyah, you're about to become pregnant. Like, we're preparing you. That's why I probably ended up having to talk about all this stuff anyway. The miscarriage and getting over it and the abortions and things like that. It's like my womb is now clear of all the hurt, pain, trauma, and everything that was held up in my womb and sacral chakras and things like that. My chakras are clear. My womb is clear. I can now carry this child, which is why I've been having to dealing with bleeding and heavy bleeding, which is probably also why I had to talk about the hematomas as well as spirit babies. I was traumatized last year with the miscarriage or abortion or whatever, but God is telling me all of that is in the past. You are now set free. Your womb is clear to carry on what I need you to carry on. But you have to realize all of this first. Like, nothing was done in vain. You learned a lesson from everything. From being the black sheep, from being the generational curse breaker, from being betrayed, backstabbed, and stolen from, and left for dead. You needed to experience all of that so that you can raise the nation up the right way. So, yes, I feel relieved. For some reason, I had to cry those tears or something. I had to just, I'm hearing 1, 2, 3, release them. And I'm also hearing that in a way, if there's a woman who's been wanting to have a child, I'm hearing when you ovulate next, you're going to be releasing great eggs. And when you meet up with this man next, he's going to release the sperm to this egg. And you guys are going to have these children because it is time. Speaking of Lion King, he always say, it is time. I'm hearing it is time. The time is now. Divine timing is here. And I'm also hearing again, he may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. Because it's divine timing. So a woman out there, if you lost that baby, it wasn't the time. It wasn't the right person. But divine timing is here now. Your womb is clean and it has been set free. And somebody put a spell on a woman so that she could not get pregnant again, that her womb will be blocked. I'm here, there has been an unblockage. All of your chakras are unblocked. They are open. Your heart chakra is open. Your sacral, your womb, and your third eye most definitely is open. You have been set free from the matrix, free from bondage, free from rituals and spells that have been put on your life. You are now set free. You did the hard work. Congratulations. The doors of the church are open. You can inherit the earth, my meek and humble servant. Your wishes are now granted. And it's because you didn't back down. You took on the challenge and you won. I told you, I'm a soldier, no limit soldier. But yes, praises be to God. Yes, all praise to the Most High Yah. And I said that when I woke up this morning. I instantly woke up and started thanking God because He set me free. He set me free. And speaking of bleeding, for the last 2 days, I've been bleeding like crazy. Not even like my normal period. I'm talking about soaking through. I think I done changed my pants or something like 4 or 5 times because I just kept soaking through and soaking through. And I'm all emotional and crying and shit like that. But I'm hearing divine timing. Divine timing. You and the man had to learn this last lesson. I'm hearing the blood of the lamb. But yes, I'm about to make me something to eat and I'm about to go sit down. It's almost time for me to be moving around. Again, the spring brings forth the new year. Give me a car and things are going to be different. Life is about to change. The reset is here. You know how one time we had the Great Depression? This is the great evolution, elevation of the awake. So I love you guys. Again, I've been telling y'all since day one, it ain't no beef. It might sound rude sometimes, but it's no beef. Shit has to be put in place. And sometimes you can't put shit in place the right way. That's why certain people are meant to be leaders. Because they know that sometimes that gentle parenting doesn't work. You got to be gutta with a bitch. Tough love. And that's what I've been given. Because it's time for a change. Oh, hear it again. Here it goes again. It takes two, baby. And I keep saying the blood of the lamb, but these are llamas. Somebody's going to be blessed with double for their trouble. And twins. And they're never going to lack. Their harvest is going to be full. Because this says grocery list, bread, eggs, and milk. And this says, I am a rebel. I'm a rebel. See, these two people coming together, they broke generational curses. They were considered to be rebels, but they were really they're in love. And this is why the families are going to come together. And they're never going to lack. Their land is going to be fruitful and full of harvest. And it says, sounds like a love song. Sounds like a love song. Ooh. But this is a love story. This is the Bible. This is prophecy. The greatest story ever told. And this says, cry me a river. But I'm hearing the river will overflow. Somebody's cup is about to overflow. The floodgates of heaven are now open. All right, I'm getting out. I'm done with this live. And this says ship, boat. You see, my ship has finally come. We are the people who survived the flood. We can now get off the ark and start over. All right, I'm through. Foreshadowing. See, I've been taking my little notes. God been talking to me, y'all. I'm just giving the messages. I'm hearing love is in the air. Positivity is in the air. The world is changing. Thank you, Father. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, 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 or the highway. I swear to God, that's the road to heaven. Yahweh or the highway, baby. You better follow the yellow brick road.